Hello and welcome back to the third episode of DBD Sports Show. Let's give it a round of applause. All right, before we start off today, make sure you guys check us out on Spotify and Apple Music. So the first topic we're going to be talking about is a blockbuster signing in free agency. J.J. Watt is headed to the Arizona Cardinals for a 2-year, $23 million guaranteed deal and could earn up to $31 million. Darryl, what do you think?
Yeah, so first off, I think this move in general, it was probably made one because of the money, and two because of Hopkins. I think Hopkins played a big role in this, honestly, because it did also come out that the Browns and Colts were gonna offer him more money, and I personally was on record saying last week that I thought he should have went to the Browns. You know what I'm saying? So I think this move is just it's probably deeper than just the football. Obviously, the Cardinals are not a terrible team, and I think they should have had a much better record than they did last year. But I think maybe he just wants to.
Would they have 8-8?
Yeah, exactly. And I think we all agree that they should have done better than that, honestly. But I think this is gonna this will be fine for him. I mean, Chandler Jones and him, they can be a good pair. It's gonna be a very good pairing. You can't double team both of them. And the Cardinals have some playmakers on that defense too. You're talking about guys like Buda Baker as well. So the Cardinals have a good defense. So I think J.J. Watt will like it there. And I think the Cardinals in general, they can make a run if they just get some more consistency as a whole. They just weren't consistent last year enough. You know what I'm saying? So they just need to get some consistency. And I think this is a team that can definitely surprise us.
Yep. So J.J. Watt going to the Texans is saving the Texans $17.5 million in cap space. And for free agency, the Texans only have $17 million around to spend. And Arizona has even less. They only have $13 million to spend. Brady?
Well, I do like the deal for the Arizona Cardinals. If you think about it, Jones wasn't there last year.
Yeah.
And the year before that, he had 20 sacks. So they were missing that production that whole year. So, that could have played a role in them going 8-8.
Yeah.
I like J.J. Watt and him going together because that production's going to be there. With Buda Baker in that secondary, I think the defense could be a good unit, as well as Simmons and the young linebacker.
Exactly.
Watt's also reuniting with Vance Joseph. Vance Joseph was a defensive coach for the Texans his first 3 years in the league.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I believe in the consistency of the Cardinals. I think they could go 10-6. I saw 10-6, maybe 9-7.
I don't know, but the only thing is the hardest part about Arizona, I think once they get the chemistry going, because TJ Watt and D-Hop, I know they're on other sides of the field, but they already have the chemistry. They're going to get the locker room going. They're going to get the sidelines going for each other's sides of the field.
You know J.J. Watt could really bring that to the team too, though.
Yeah.
He is great energy. That's probably the best part about this deal, because J.J. Watt's not the J.J. Watt that we once knew with the back-to-back defensive player of the years.
Role player.
He's a better role player, in a way.
Yeah.
But the Arizona, the key free agents next year, I'll go on, Daryl.
Oh yeah, I was gonna add to that, saying that he's gonna bring leadership and things that go beyond just football itself. So I totally agree with that.
So key free agents for Arizona is Pat Peterson, who I think desperately need to bring back.
I think he's leaving though. I heard he's not gonna come back. Yeah, I heard he's not gonna come back.
Okay. Larry Fitz, who will most likely retire, he's there. Again, he's more of a role player.
They would never release him now.
I don't think he's doing much for the team. I don't think they'll release him, but I think we're going to retire. And Kenyon Drake, which they do need running back help. They need more depth. So I think Kenyon Drake is a must out of the 3 key free agents. But Pat Pete is making about $14 million a year, so look for them to even try and negotiate it down, which I doubt he will. So like Darryl was saying, he's probably going to be gone. But you know how you were saying J.J. Watt probably wants to go there for D-Hop?
Yeah.
J.J. Watt was actually quoted saying to Kyler Murray, he said, J.J. Watt said, I'm doing this because I believe in you. He believes in Kyler, so he believes in the team. So like we were saying, that chemistry is already there. But do you think that he's going to try and stick with Kyler, or do you think they're going to try and bring in Deshaun Watson? Trade Kyler and maybe 2 picks for Deshaun?
I think they like what they have in Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I think they like what they have. It's all about trying to get the consistency there.
Yeah,
exactly.
So do you think that Arizona will become one of these teams that go all in on these next few years for J.J. Watt's last years and go for a ring-chasing team? Kind of like the Bucs are going all in for Tom because he only has, I was going to say he only has a few years left, but he's playing till whenever he wants to, honestly,
right?
With TB12. But do you think they're going to become a ring-chasing team?
I don't think they're going to win a ring anytime soon.
Okay.
But I definitely do think they could be a 9-10 win team. Maybe make the playoffs and have a couple wins in the playoffs. But no, I don't see them making the Super Bowl.
Darryl, what do you think?
Yeah, so I honestly think that they're this is the difference between I think they're gonna go all in and try to win a ring, but does that mean they're gonna do it? Probably not, unfortunately. But I mean, I definitely think if like let's say Kyler even improves his play some more, and then like we get some consistency on the offense and on the defense, like anything can happen, honestly.
Right.
But it's just all about consistency with them.
I definitely agree with Daryl how they're going to try and buy in to the mentality about winning the championship, but they don't really have the money to do it and to sign the pieces.
And what experience do they have?
Right, they're a very young team. That's why J.J. Watt is such a good fit because he's an older, experienced guy. He knows what it takes. But for some key players on the Cardinals, they got J.J. Watt, Chandler Jones, Budda Baker, Isaiah Simmons, who's a young linebacker. He plays pretty much the whole defense. Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, who's a great wide receiver, and Andy Isabella, who I think is going to have not a breakout year, but he's going to have a way better year than last year. But they are in a very, very hard division. Yeah. LA Rams, 49ers, and Seahawks are all in their division. So
the 49ers are only going to get better.
The 49ers are going to get better. The biggest threat in the division is the Rams. I think the worst team might be the Seahawks.
Yeah. I agree.
It depends if the 49ers get a better wide receiver one, and if they stick with Jimmy G or get rid of Jimmy G, that's going to vary on where they go above or below the Seahawks. But the Seahawks are a mess right now. But
I low-key want to take back what I said. I still think the Arizona Cardinals will be at the bottom of that division.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Maybe like third or second.
Who would they be above?
Because I still think it's going to be Rams, 49ers, or the 49ers can swap with the Seahawks for that 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And then the Cardinals maybe?
I think their best bet is either to be above. I don't know. Because the 49ers and...
That division's good.
They're a great division.
It really is.
The 49ers and the Seahawks are kind of the same team. Seahawks have a great offense. 49ers have a great defense. Rams are a great offense and defense, so they're undisputed number one. I think that the Arizona Cardinals have a better defense than the Seahawks and around the same offense, a little bit better offense than the 49ers. So that's why I'm like I feel like they could be a 3 or a 2 depending on if they get more defensive players. They have, pick 15, right? We have pick 16 or 14, 15?
Yeah, something
so I think they're either going to go – they might go Micah Parsons, the linebacker out of Penn State, who is projected to go to the Patriots. But if Isaiah Simmons really clicked last year when he sealed the game with the pick six. Excuse me, not pick six. When he got the interception against Russell Wilson. I think he grew more towards the end of the year, so they might try and go for more linebacker help with Micah Parsons, who's a great linebacker. But do you think they should go more defensive or like a running back? Do you think they go like Najee Harris? What do you think? Travis Etienne? What do you think, Daryl?
So I think that on the Cardinals to try to improve their offense more. I feel like their defense is good enough. Like even last year, I can't really point to how many instances last year when I was like the Cardinals' defense is the reason why they lost the game. Like most of the time when the Cardinals lost, it felt the reason why was because just inconsistencies on offense, like too many 3-and-out sometimes.
I think it was inconsistencies on defense. I think it was always the defense.
Got outcoached a couple times.
But see, like
I don't know. I think it was always their defense. They couldn't. Like against Buffalo, they're lucky they won against Buffalo. Buffalo won all the games after the Hail Murray.
That was a miracle.
It was luck, but their defense could not stop Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. They were lucky.
They drove down the field under 1 minute in the fourth and scored.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't think it's their offense, because their offense proves that they can hang in a shootout.
But also, how many times
if you need to prove that you can hang in a shootout, that just goes to show your defense isn't all that. If it goes down to a shootout, your defense isn't all that. Like the Rams and the Chiefs a few years ago. The Rams and the Chiefs offenses were amazing, but their defenses lacked and they needed help. That's why it got to the point of a shootout. I just feel like the Cardinals' defense is more of a priority to improve than their offense. I think they maybe need I think their wide receivers are deep enough. I just think they need another running back.
Other than D-Hop, who do you really go like, I can give this person the ball?
Christian Kirk.
See, like I mean, he's a good deep threat, but you're not always getting consistency from anyone other than D-Hop. You're really not even the running backs all the time. Kenyon Drake was really up and down as well. So I mean, like it just
So do you think they're gonna go maybe like wide receiver, running back, wide receiver, or do you think they're gonna try and go for someone on defense?
I think.
Well, I feel like the defense has the pieces.
You think so?
The defense has the pieces because they didn't have the production from Chandler Jones, and they're gaining the production that J.J. Watt brings to the table.
Right.
Like I just see it. I don't know.
No, I definitely agree with that.
You know what I mean?
But so J.J. Watt coming to Arizona, that's helping out Arizona's defense, obviously. does Russell Wilson really need to get out? These are the players that he's going against on almost a bi-weekly basis. These are the players just in his division. Notable defensive players: J.J. Watt, Chandler Jones, Aaron Donald, Nick Bosa, Leonard Floyd, Budda Baker, Jalen Ramsey, Eric Armstead, and Fred Warner. He has to play those guys 6 games a year. 6 out of the... Is it going to be 16 or 17 next year?
Hopefully it's 17.
17 games.
Is it going to? I think it's going to be 17.
Yeah.
But he has to play those people all the time. And his offensive line might hate him. They might hate him. Does he need to go?
If Russell Wilson is a competitor, he stays in this division and he goes and gets it.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think people are confusing Russell Wilson from wanting to leave and wanting to win.
Yeah.
So what I mean by this...
Exactly. I completely agree.
Well, during the Super Bowl, Russell Wilson texted his former teammate and said he was angry he wasn't playing in the game. Mm-hmm. He's not saying he wants to leave.
Right.
I feel like if you're the centerpiece of an organization, you want to have the you want to have that. You want to call the shots.
Right.
You want to know
you want
what's
to have
going
the insiders
on.
and everything.
You want to put your...
he was calling the shots, and then the defenses figured him out.
You want to be listened to.
He was calling the shots, and the defenses figured him out.
Yeah.
And that's when they went to the running game, and then he got mad that they went to the running game. See, say Russell Wilson does leave the Seahawks, the other teams have to give up so much to even get him that no matter what, it's going to be a downgrade. It's going to be a downgrade from the Seahawks. Because, number one, the Bears said that they're all in for Russell Wilson. The Bears are not as good as the Seahawks. Obviously, I'm not even saying just Mitch Trubisky. The running backs at the Seahawks are better. The wide receivers at Seahawks are better. The defense, obviously Chicago. But offensive help, Chicago's O-line is not good. I don't understand. They need to give up so much just to get Russell Wilson. And say they give up, what is it? It's starting at 3 first rounders, something like that? 4 first rounders?
At the same time,
their future is done. Russell Wilson's not going to have any help.
There's been no trade requests at all, though.
So
I think people are making it a lot more than it is.
Mm-hmm.
There's been no trade requests at all.
Actually, so obviously it was reported that the Seahawks were not taking calls. Same with the Texans, they're not taking calls. But it was reported by an insider, a Seahawks insider, that the Seahawks are taking calls to Russell and they're calling other teams for what they can get for Russell Wilson.
But at the same
they're
time,
shopping
Russell
him out,
Wilson
basically.
never asked for a trade request.
No, I understand he never, but the Seahawks front office is calling out to other teams about hey, we'll give you Russ. What can we get in return? They're already thinking of moving on. Is the relationship broken, Darryl? Is the Seahawks Russell Wilson relationship broken? Even if he does stay, is it? It's not going to be the same.
So, no, I actually think I completely agree with what Brady said earlier. I think the media is blowing this a little bit out of proportion. The reason I'm saying this is because, again, Russell Wilson never really asked for a trade. You know what I'm saying? And it's the thing is, it is the offseason. So keeping that in mind, this story wouldn't have been the same during the season because the media is not going to blow it up the same way. And also, I don't think he was saying his agents made it clear that he did not want to be traded or he did not really mind staying. But if you were,
he's just not happy.
If you were to get traded, these are the teams. So it's not.
What were the teams?
It was the Cowboys,
Bears,
Saints,
Raiders, Saints,
and
Cowboys.
Bears, Raiders. Mm-hmm. Are any of those teams realistically? You're looking at the Raiders, the Bears, the Saints, and the Cowboys. Think about what they need to give up to even get Russell there. Are any of those an upgrade for Russell?
Not really.
The Saints are in no financial position to sign Russell Wilson. If he gets traded, he hasn't requested one, but
if he does, I definitely think that they're blowing it out of proportion just because there's barely anything going on in the NFL right now. So they need stuff to talk about, just like us.
Literally,
we need stuff to talk about.
Yep.
So we need to blow the stuff out of proportion so we can talk about it. That's their job.
Not literally.
So yes, it might be true, but also no, it might be false. We don't know until the trade happens, until we get the alert on our phones. Yes. We really don't know.
But to bring it back to your point, you see all those great defensive players in your division. Mm-hmm. If I'm a QB, I have that mentality. Right. I want to go after them and pick their defense apart every week. So if I'm Russell Wilson, I take that as a challenge. I don't leave.
If you're a player like that and is determined and competitive, why would you be throwing your team under the bus like that? Why would you be throwing your O-line, the guys fighting for you in the trenches? Why would you be throwing them under the bus saying, they haven't helped me my whole time in Seattle, is what he said. My whole entire time here on this team, they haven't helped me. So if he's really a competitor and he wants to take on this task.
Exactly what was said or what happened.
But if he wants to take on this task, wouldn't you try and be like, oh, I love my guys. There's nothing wrong with my guys. I'll fight for my guys. And not throw them under the bus? Because obviously he said something at least along those lines. That's why this whole stuff started. Daryl, what do you think?
Yeah, so I think I need to like I honestly I need to see exactly like what he said, like his exact words, because the media can twist like words sometimes, but I don't think he was meaning to be like offensive like towards his line. But I mean, it is true. And again, we mentioned this last week, but some of it is due to Russell Wilson himself and his play style, right? And Dom, you alluded to this last week, but also to like I mean, he definitely could receive some better protection. And I think he also, like most star QBs in the NFL do, he probably just wants to have more of a chance to make decisions, like when it comes to even the personnel, you know what I'm saying? So he wants to have more of an impact. So I think that's what all it comes down to. I don't think he was saying like, "Oh, I'm screwed with Seahawks, like I want to leave." Like, but I just think he wants to make some adjustments, which is fair.
So we were talking about relationships being broken. Let's look at probably the most literally broken with his leg and the relationship broken. Alex Smith, he just got kicked to the curb by Washington. Washington doesn't even. They don't kick him. Did they even want him?
It was a mutual agreement to part ways.
Did they want him this year? Or did they feel bad
they needed him this year, I'll tell you that.
Did they want? Do you think they wanted him this year, or they'd be like, we got to give this another like a sympathy, like let him get a few games in, let him get a few starts in.
I don't think it's that case at all. I think he was their security blanket, and the cards just happened to fall the way they fell. Right. And here was Alex Smith. So you throw him in, see what he can do. He goes 5-1.
Right, as a starter.
Brings him to the NFC title.
So with Alex Smith departing from Washington saving $14.9 million of their cap, and in total they have $54 million in the total cap space to spend, which is a great amount this offseason. Obviously Alex Smith wants to play, but they don't want him there. Who are they going to get for a QB next year? Who do you guys think are they going to go for a Mac Jones? Are they going to try and get someone from free agency, a trade? What do you think?
Where are they in the draft?
They are. Where is Washington in the draft?
What was their record? They were 7-9, so probably around 20.
They might be right after us. I don't know.
Interesting.
I'll look it up. You guys talk. I'll look it up.
Yeah, so I think maybe give Taylor Heineke a chance. I mean, we've talked about this off air. I personally think Taylor Heineke arguably played the best against the Bucs out of every QB in the playoffs. Yes, that includes Patrick Mahomes.
I completely forgot they signed him.
I think when did we talk about that? We talked about that. Did we talk about that last week, or we talked about it off air?
I don't know if that was off air last week, but we definitely spoke about it. And I just think Taylor Heineke, he definitely deserves to get a chance to see what you're working with him, because I mean, obviously they don't have Dwayne Haskins anymore, and he wasn't doing anything. He just wasn't.
They have the 19th overall pick.
Yeah, and what's it called? Kyle Allen was inconsistent. So I mean, I don't think it hurts to give Heineke a shot. But also one thing, the way they did Alex Smith, I don't think that was nice at all. I mean, for a guy who just came back from that catastrophic injury, he was not. I wouldn't say he was playing terrible. As you guys alluded to, he did get them a playoff spot.
He wasn't playing elite, but he was playing good. He was playing fine.
He was still better than a quarterbacks like Wentz and Cam Newton last season, stuff like that. Goff, he really was. So
Jimmy G was hurt the whole year.
He was. He was still a middle of back
leg. He was not playing better than Carson.
And I think that speaks.
His calf was bleeding in the middle of a game.
Literally, I think that speaks to the determination that this guy has to be great. So I just think it was kind of wrong what they did.
Yeah,
I don't think they did him wrong. I mean, they sat him down. They told him where they were.
Yeah,
he said where he was. I think what Alex Smith was to the Washington football team was a security blanket. Mm-hmm. I think he took the role he needed to take. He managed games. He won them games. Got them to the playoffs. And when you see your brother on the football team go out there risking his life, basically, that motivates your team to play better.
I mean, having Alex Smith as a quarterback, not that he's a bad quarterback, but having him as your starting quarterback goes to show how good this Washington team can be. They have the 19th overall pick, $54 million to spend. That's a ton of money. That's, I think, top 5, top 6 money to spend.
Great defense.
And they made it to the playoffs. They made it to the playoffs, 7-9, you said? 7-9. Top of the NFC East. With Alex Smith, imagine if they get a good quarterback in there, maybe another wide receiver, because J.D. McKissick is pretty good. Terry McLaurin's obviously to maybe top 10 wide receiver in the league. They have a good team, great defense. They could go a long way.
I think Heineke's their guy.
You think Taylor is? What does that do? 2 year, right?
I think it might have been 3.
Was it 2 year or 3 year, Daryl?
I think it was 2. I think it was 2, to be honest.
But I was reading up and I saw something. It was The Washington football team's record with Alex Smith since he's been there is 11-5.
Right.
Without him, they're 6-27.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
So do you think that he's going to retire, or do you think he's going to find another starting job or a backup job?
Go ahead, Daryl.
I mean, like, obviously, like, from a family's perspective, a psychological perspective, like, I feel like it really definitely probably took a toll on him playing football all the time. And I imagine being his wife, too, and his family. So, I mean, this is definitely that he's going to have to consider, because I know, like, if I was in his family seeing him play football, and even, like, games, like you said, like, when his calf was bleeding and stuff like that, like, it's one of those things, like, even when Alex Smith gets tapped, like, gets, like, a normal tackle now, like, he's going to be more scared than usual. So, I mean, it just depends where his mind is. And, like, honestly, I wouldn't, like, judge him at all from retiring. Like, just him, like, having that season that he had was amazing.
I don't think he will retire just because he did all that to come back.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't think he's going to retire, but I think he's going to pull like a Fitzpatrick and be like, I don't care where I play. I don't care if I'm starter or not. I just want to play football.
Yeah.
I think he's going to pull that type of card. But yeah, I don't think he's going to retire. I don't know where he'll end up, though.
I do think if he did retire, I think that would be perfectly fine. I mean, he's done all that he's
I'm not.
to do.
I wouldn't say anything for him retiring. But
he's played in NFC Championship games.
Right. But like, what team would he end up on?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I honestly don't see a team taking that risk at this point. Maybe as a backup. I don't know. I don't see them taking a risk.
It's gonna be
signing him to a starting.
Good luck to him. Good luck to him.
We're talking about him retiring. Let's talk about Big Ben Roethlisberger and Drew Brees.
Mm-hmm.
Big Ben, we all thought was retiring. Drew Brees, we all still think might be retiring. So Big Ben just restructured his contract, saves the Steelers about $14 million for the cap. They only have $3 million to spend. They have nothing. So they're going to have to restructure and negotiate a lot of contracts. They just did Big Ben got him down to $25 million. Joe Hayden is $15.5 million. Stephon Tua is $14.9 million. And Steven Nelson is $14.4 million. So what can the Steelers do? Brady? Oh, Daryl?
Well, so, like, first of all, I've been saying a lot, like, that they shouldn't have kept Big Ben and stuff like that. And I just want to say, like, first off, that, like, when you look at Big Ben's season, there's no way you can tell me he had a bad season. Like, there's no way. Like, there's actually no way. Like, when you look at the team...
I don't think it was his fault.
Yeah. Like,
I think it was just the lack of run game. They couldn't get anything going.
Literally. Like, when you look at the team, like, what glares out to you? Was it the line and lack of running game? Or was it, Big Ben is just not playing good? Like, Big Ben did not play terrible by any means. He even had broken some type of passing record in, like, the last playoff game they had. Like, he had a lot of passing attempts per game because they didn't have a running game. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. Like, if you have to throw the ball that many times, you're gonna get tired too and start making mistakes. Like, the Steelers need to reevaluate their team, like, and not just, like, try to blame it. The fan base as well. Just don't just try to blame it on Big Ben. But I also think they definitely need to restructure some contracts and stuff like that and see, because they have, like, no room in the cap right now. Honestly.
Because how are they even going to bring back Juju?
I don't know. Maybe he doesn't get brought back, but I don't know.
How are they going to... They have to restructure almost everybody on that team's deal. Be like, at least get like $1 million from each person, so then they can pay Juju if they really want it back. Yeah. Juju said that, I want to stay in Pittsburgh, but did he tweet that out just so if he does get traded, he's like, oh, no, my heart was here, my heart was in Pittsburgh, so he doesn't look like a bad guy, or does he really mean it?
Juju wants to stay.
Honestly, I'm not worried about...
So we can TikTok with Chase.
I'm not worried about weapons with the Steelers because Mike Tomlin drafts wide receivers very well.
He does.
Yeah.
And I think, and I agree with Daryl. Big Ben didn't play bad this year, and he actually got better as the season went on. The first 15 games, he averaged 6 yards per attempt, and then towards the last 3 games, he started to throw the ball further downfield, average 8 yards per attempt.
Yep.
And he had like a 66% completion percentage.
Right.
I think he realizes he's on the tail end of his career. He's going to reduce his pay to help the team, and I think he just wants to win, just like Russell Wilson's type of situation. He just wants to win.
The Steelers just brought in Dewey Haskins. I think they signed him for 1 year. I think they barely signed him for any money since after he got released from Washington.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to try and keep him in, have him come in, learn from Big Ben, have Big Ben be like a mentor for him, and keep him? Or do you think they're going to try him out if Big Ben isn't playing good, put him in for a few snaps? If he's not good, do you think they're just going to release him next year? Or do you think that Dewey Haskins could be their quarterback? Because Mason Rudolph, Duck Hodges are terrible. They're not good. They're like the Brian Hoyer, Jarrett Stidham. They're not good. I don't think they're a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
So it's either Dewey Haskins or they have to draft somebody after... Maybe this year, have them learn under Big Ben, or next year and hope they're good quarterbacks coming out of the draft.
Yeah.
But Drew Brees, is Drew Brees going to retire?
Yeah.
Honestly, I hope he does retire.
He needs to. He needs to go. He's not in his prime. Same with Big Ben. I don't think they're in their primes anymore. It's time for them to go.
He already lowered his 2021 salary from $25 million to $1 million, so that's saying something. And they freed up the cap room. They're gonna wait till June 1st to officially submit the retirement papers. Just doing this will spread the remaining salary of him over the next 2 years. He's scheduled to make $36 million, but he'll now only be a cap hit at $12 million. So everything is still pointing towards retirement because he did lower that salary by like
a ton.
$34 million.
Yeah, he did.
And you can tell his arm strength isn't there anymore. He can't put it down.
He's never been there.
Used to.
Yeah.
So I hope he does retire.
He just got that uphill sled push record wherever that was in some parking lot.
Yeah, with a whole bunch of 60-year-old grandmas.
So the good thing for the Saints, though, they're already trying to work out their cap space. They just renegotiated Cam Jordan and Demario Davis. Cam Jordan was at 18.9, but they just restructured. I think they saved like 20 million combined. Michael Thomas is at 18.8 million, and Taysom Hill is at around $16 million.
That's ridiculous.
Marcus Mariota is getting paid $10 million, and he's a better quarterback than Taysom Hill is.
The thing is, they don't use Taysom Hill
like
as
a quarterback.
Conventional quarterback.
Right.
They use him in different schemes, different type of plays. So I wouldn't really even consider him a quarterback.
Jared,
I do,
you think,
but at the same time, no.
Jared, do you think they're gonna stick with Jameis?
Honestly,
yeah. Honestly, like
I think he could. Yeah. I hope they give him a chance. He got that LASIK.
If anyone's gonna change him, it's Sean Payton with that play calling.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Or
put him in the position to
Josh
succeed.
McDaniels.
Who knows?
Bruce Arians is kind of just like a gunning around type of guy.
Yeah.
Which
Same
is
with
probably
Andy.
why he threw so many interceptions.
No. Well, it's because he had terrible eyesight.
He's terrible. That's bottom line. He's terrible.
So, we've had some pretty... Darryl, you said he's going to retire now.
I think he's going to retire. I think he's just delaying right now, to be honest. It's really as plain as that.
So, this free agency, not a ton has happened yet. Just a lot of, like, kind of behind-the-scenes renegotiations. But some players already have been released. So, Diana Rossini went on the Pat McAfee show earlier. And she said everybody's starting to get cut starting next week. Everybody's going to be cut. Everybody's going to start renegotiating their deals. Because what is it, 180 to 185 million for the cap? But they don't know what it is. So they need to get as much money as they can. But she went on the show and said, if your favorite player, Pat McAfee said, if your favorite player didn't have their best year, look for them to renegotiate the contract or they're going to get cut. That's how it is this year. I think next week is going to be a blockbuster week in the NFL.
Excited.
They need Chris Godwin, Allen Robinson, Kenny Galladay, who was on NFL Network this morning. They're all most likely to get franchise tagged, if not released, because they can't pay them big money because all of those teams don't have a ton to spend. Brady, want to go?
Almost it.
Okay. So one of the first big cuts was Kyle Van Noy out of the Miami Dolphins. Came out of nowhere. He was just 1 year into his 4-year, $51 million contract. It saves the Miami Dolphins $10 million. And it came out that they didn't even try to restructure it. They just cut him out of nowhere. Brady, what do you think about that?
I don't know. That's a big piece in that defense. Kyle Van Noy is just like that low-key type of defensive player that will just go out there and play hard for you.
Just how like we were talking about J.J. Watt being the mentor for the young defense. Talk about a young defense. Miami has one of the youngest defenses in the NFL. Yep. Kyle Van Noy was that mentor. That's why it was so surprising that they just cut him like that. Daryl?
Yeah, I'm also surprised on that. But like, honestly, hey, maybe he can veer now with the Patriots. The McCarty twins already said that they want him back, so maybe he can come back to the Patriots because the Patriots definitely need that help.
I mean, I'd be happy. How much do we have to pay him? Like, what? That's what do we pay him? Like 12, probably.
Yeah.
Probably over that. But another Kyle that got cut. Kyle Rudolph cut from the Vikings. Yep. He didn't want to take the pay cut. Yep. What do you think, Daryl?
I think that's another person that can also go to the Patriots. He
said he would like to go to the Patriots.
Oh, there you go. Because the Patriots don't have like production at the tight end position anymore like they used to. And like Kyle Rudolph is definitely an underrated tight end, so he can make something happen. But I also want to mention someone on Deshaun Jackson and Golden Tate also were released.
Yes. And
both of them I think are underrated and like pretty good. So like any team.
No, I think Deshaun Jackson, he's made of glass. He gets injured almost every year. He was out
that's the only thing.
Not this past season, but 2 seasons ago, he was out almost the whole time.
Yeah, Deshaun,
like the first week or two he got hurt.
Deshaun,
I'd rather
unfortunately,
Golden Tate. Golden Tate was looking at us when he went to the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we could maybe bring in a veteran Golden Tate for not a ton of money. That's another great wide receiver for not a ton of money. But Kyle Rudolph is 6'6", 265, and 31 years old. The Patriots actually tried trading for Kyle Rudolph just a few years ago. So Bill Belichick might still have that interest. Or do you think they're going to lean towards Kyle Pitts in the draft, again, try and trade up? Or do you think we're going to try and get Kyle Rudolph, the veteran? Because do you think they're going to, I don't know what they're going to pay him. They'll probably pay him around like 10-ish. Do you think it'll be more or less, Brady?
More or less than
10.
10? I don't know. I do like Kyle Rudolph, though. I hope he does come to us. That'll be a good...
This is my thing.
We've had zero production at that tight end position since Gronk left.
Right.
Like, absolutely zero.
Rest in peace, Aaron Hernandez. No, but...
He's a certified killer. Like, we don't talk about
Okay. No, but
Jesus.
Do you think they're going to pay him what Kyle Rudolph... Because Kyle Rudolph does not want to get a pay cut. That's why he left Minnesota. Do you think Bill Belichick or the front office...
We definitely have the money to pay him if we want to.
But do we want to just pay Kyle Rudolph a ton amount of money and just get like a few okay players in return and get a... How old is Kyle Rudolph? I don't even know. 30-something?
Maybe something 30.
Or do you think Bill Belichick and the front office are going to say, listen... we want to load up this offense around quarterback we don't know yet. You were the one that said you wanted to come to us. We obviously tried trading for you a few years ago, but you just now said you want to come to play for us. So we're going to pay you what we're going to pay you. You want to come to a winning organization and franchise.
That's
do you think that I think he's going to end up getting paid, I don't remember the exact number. I think it was a little bit over $10 million from the Vikings. But I think he might get paid around like 9-ish, 8, because exactly what I'm saying. He wants to come to a winning organization franchise, and he's the one that came out and said that he wants to come. We didn't reach out and say, like, listen, we really want you on this team. Like, yes, we need him, but we weren't the one that go to say that to him. But the Patriots have $66 million in cap to spend. But listen to these free agent names. Jason McCourty, Joe Tooney, James White, Lawrence Guy, David Andrews, Adam Butler, Rex Burkhead, Cam Newton, and J.C. Jackson. Those are just a few of the free agents that the Patriots... Those are good players that the Patriots pretty much need to bring back, but obviously we can't. Brady, who do you think is like the most notable out of those names?
I think the most notable is J.C. Jackson.
J.C. Jackson.
Yeah.
J.C. Jackson. It's not even a question.
Also, though, right. Joe Tooney, we need him back because we definitely need that protection for whatever quarterback we're going to bring in.
What about Cam? Like, again, we go back to the Cam topic.
But
we don't know what's going to happen.
I feel like we can sign him for the same we did last year.
So it said, I think I said it last episode, I can't remember, but it's rumored that if the Patriots do sign him, it's going to be a 2-year, $12 million, so $6 a year.
But why would we pay him more than we did last year when he played terrible last year?
I don't know. Hey, I didn't say it. Those are the rumors.
Give him the league minimum.
So again, Cam, we're debating on whether we want Cam or not. Cam recently said last week on I Am Athlete, there aren't 32 quarterbacks better than me. Who's he better than right now?
Ask Daryl first.
Daryl, who? I mean, it doesn't just have to be Daryl. We can all talk about
terrible.
Sam Darnold.
He's bad. He played bad.
But what
was his pro football ranking?
I don't know. I don't remember. Dude, it might have been like 28.
Daryl, do you think he's top 32?
Yes.
Well, I mean,
you think there's a backup that's better than Cam?
No.
You think he's not better than one starting quarterback? Is Sam Darnold?
I do. I think he's better than Sam Darnold. I think at this point he's better than the Wentz right now.
If you had to choose one quarterback next year, who would you choose? That's like, iffy. Who'd you choose?
Sam Darnold and Cam Newton. I'm taking Cam Newton.
I'm taking Cam Newton. What about Mitch Trubisky?
I'm taking Cam Newton. I'm taking Cam Newton. I don't care. I'm
taking Cam Newton. What about Carson Wentz? I'd take Cam Newton. What about Jared Goff?
I'm taking Cam Newton.
I don't want to go through another season watching the ball.
I would take Cam Newton.
Go straight into the ground.
I know. But listen, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. COVID hit him hard. We all saw that happen. The first 2 games of the season, I was a little excited. I thought that we could still kind of make a playoff run. That Seahawks game, they got stopped at the 2-yard line. That was amazing. That was amazing. I think Cam has that potential in him. He rushed for I can't remember the amount of yards in the Miami game, but he obviously rushed more than he threw.
He used the excuse. In the I Am Athlete interview.
That's
he didn't have an
podcast.
off-season. He didn't have the off-season.
Right.
But he played so great in Seattle. So was that the excuse when he played great in Seattle?
Well, he played so great in Seattle, and then COVID hit. Then he couldn't practice for, 2 weeks almost? So then he lost it. So he was saying, again, in that same interview, he said it's like a car's going. You're on a road trip.
But he's in all the team meetings.
But no, not when he had COVID.
Yes, he's on Zoom.
It's not the same.
No, that's not the same. That's not the same.
They're setting the whole thing up for him.
They're
telling him all the signs.
No.
You act like they just shut him out.
This isn't
Don't tell
Pop
him any of the
Warner.
news.
No, I'm not saying.
This isn't like.
Listen. This is what Cam said.
Zoom
This is what Cam
isn't
said.
the same.
In the Patriots offense, Patriots building overall. Say you're on a road trip. You're following a car. You go, hey, I'm gonna stop for gas. You pull off. That car is still going. You have so much time to then make up that time to get to that other car. That's like Cam Newton taking off time.
I disagree.
How?
Dude, you're telling me you're on a football team.
Yes,
you're just gonna
but the Patriots are no
take
other
a
football
break
team.
For 2 weeks.
The Patriots are no other football team.
Oh my gosh. You don't think they're going to tell him every single thing they're changing?
No, I know they're telling him, but it's not the same if they're just telling you and it's not.
That's on him.
Say you're doing something for a test,
That's
and
on
you
him.
just
You also have to remember he
just
went to the
you're just
team.
listening to the teacher, and you're not doing it in school, hands on. That's going to be way different. Trying to remember it. Yes, you're taking notes, but doing it hands on is way easier than just taking notes on it.
That's his job.
I know
to
that's
learn
his
the
job.
signals and learn the play call.
I know that's his job, but he said that one thing can mean one certain thing this week, next week is a total opposite thing, and you don't notice it till you're playing. You don't notice it because they move so fast-paced.
If
and
that's the case,
Bill
then they
Belichick
wouldn't have put him out on the field. If they didn't think he knew the signals, I'm sorry. That's just not an excuse.
No, I'm not saying he didn't know the signals, but
That's what
I don't
he
know.
said in the podcast.
I don't know exactly what it was that he was missing on, what he was missing out on when he was behind. But the Patriots organization is unlike no other. He had to take 2 weeks off. We don't know what COVID does to somebody. We don't know. It just happened a year and a half ago around. We don't know what the effects are. So it's like, again.
But he never blamed it on physical effects. He never blamed it on, I was short of breath. I was tired.
I know.
He blamed it on the mental aspect. That's his fault. He's supposed to go home, study the game.
This is what he said.
Stay on video. Keep calling your coaches. Make sure you know what's going on.
He said all of his mistakes.
You can't blame that on
all of his mistakes came pre-snap.
organization.
All of his mistakes came pre-snap. He was at the line of scrimmage and he was saying the play call, but he said in his head he was questioning what the play was. He's like, wait, am I supposed to go on 1? Am I supposed to go on 2? Am I supposed to motion somebody? He didn't know what was going on in his head. So I think, again, he had no offseason. If he has more time in that system, he doesn't have to second guess himself like that. Hopefully, he doesn't have to second guess.
Use that excuse. I'm sorry.
We don't know what COVID does.
Did Tom Brady have an offseason?
No.
I'm gonna bring it
Tom
back.
Brady didn't go
Tom Brady
didn't get COVID. Tom Brady's Tom Brady. Tom Brady's not Cam Newton.
He didn't have an offseason.
Tom Brady is not Cam Newton. Bruce Arians even said
No,
he just
but
sat back
also
and
too-
let Tom Brady coach. He let Tom Brady coach.
Brady.
Tom Brady ran that offense.
for this.
Tom Brady ran that offense. Darryl,
So
go.
if you place Cam Newton on a Bucks, you tell me he wouldn't have done better than he did on the Patriots. A team like the Bucks has loaded everywhere. Like act like the Patriots.
You don't think he would have done better?
He still would have been terrible.
What?
All right, bro. Yeah.
Do you think he would have better? Do you think he would have been better on the Patriots or on the Bucks?
It doesn't matter who's around you. If you can't hit the side of a barn, it doesn't matter.
Listen, Tom Brady is Tom Brady. Cam Newton is nowhere near, never will be near
But
Tom
at
Brady.
the end of the
no
day,
one's gonna touch Tom
at the
Brady.
end of the day, you need to know what the plays are. It's no one's
I
fault
know.
but his.
I
It's
know
no
that.
one's fault but his.
But you said
He
you were the one that brought up Tom
He decided
Brady.
to go what he needed to do, and he caught Corona.
You're the one that brought up Tom Brady.
He didn't have an offseason.
He didn't have Corona. Cam
Newton.
Newton is not.
right.
Cam Newton's not Tom Brady. Tom Brady ran that Bucks offense. He ran it.
He did it for the first 8 weeks of the season.
Bruce Arians didn't say you just let him
It
sit
was
back.
a completely different offense, and you know it.
No, it was not.
It was a completely different offense down the stretch.
Compare that offense to the Patriots offense.
After week
compare
12, they were a
this
completely
year's
different
Patriots offense to Cam Newton's offense in Carolina.
Tom Brady would have put up more numbers than he did in New England with the same offense as he did the year before.
But Tom Brady wasn't taking this Patriots team
You're telling
far.
me Tom Brady's throwing 6 touchdown passes?
He's not.
Oh, I thought you said he's putting up more numbers than he did on the Bucks.
No. One thing though, Tom Brady's like this team. There's a reason why Tom Brady wants to leave. On top of everything, this Patriots team isn't good. Like the number one.
The team wasn't good. Cam Newton has nobody.
Yo, the number one. Like think about this, right? Let's say the Patriots' number one receiver is N'Keal Harry, right? Who's he better than on the Bucks? Mm-hmm. Is he better than Scotty Miller? Not even Scotty Miller. He's not better than it. Don't even get started with Chris Godwin. Gronk,
our number one wide receiver isn't better than our number one wide receiver isn't better than the Bucks' third wide receiver.
Come on now.
I'm sorry.
Come on now.
You're gonna use the excuse that I fell behind. How do you fall behind?
That is literally what happened.
You're an NFL player. No, that's not an excuse. You need to stay on top of everything that's happening in the offense. That's your job. What do you mean? What do you think he was doing those whole 2 weeks? He said, I fell behind.
Listen. You're the one that brought up Tom Brady, saying Tom Brady didn't fall behind.
Imagine going to Bill Belichick and saying, I don't know. I'm a little behind this week.
He obviously didn't say it. Exactly. It's a whole different system. Bruce Arians. I have it in my head, but I'm trying to put it into words. From Tom Brady going to the Patriots system to the Bucs system was an easier transition than Cam Newton going from the Panthers, hurt for a year, was a free agent for like however long, and into the Patriots system. That's a whole different situation.
Dude. Bill Belichick is known for playing to the certain players' attributes. Bruce Arians, when they first came in, and they were slinging it all over the place. That's not the type of football that Tom Brady plays. Then later on in the season, they worked in the run.
I understand that.
Working screen passes. So you can't say that it was Bill Belichick's system down in Tampa at first. They had to learn, and he had to grow into that system.
I'm not saying it was a system. But
you just said it was easier to change into that system.
Huh?
You were just saying it was easier for Tom
It wasn't
Brady to go
easier.
into that system.
I think it most definitely wasn't.
It was a completely different offense. It was Bruce Arians' offense at first.
I think it was definitely an easier transition from Tom to the Bucs than Cam to the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
But
you're playing for the greatest coach of all time. He's going to put you in the best position to win. I'm sorry. You got no excuse.
I know that. But Cam Newton, I'm not saying Cam Newton.
I like Cam Newton.
I like Cam Newton
I
too.
hope he does good. I'm just saying.
But Cam Newton literally had nothing. That doesn't excuse his terrible throws. That doesn't excuse his poor throwing. But he had no targets. He had, like we were just saying, the Patriots' number one receiver, Julian Edelman, can't stay healthy. He hasn't stayed healthy in a long time. I think he might retire. If not, he's going to get paid like the veteran minimum. N'Keal Harry, we don't know what's going to... I think he can still be good, but as of right now, he's a bust. He's a bust. Yes, it's very early on. But he hasn't done anything for us. N'Keal Harry and Julian Edelman, Jacoby Myers, Damiere Byrd, they're not Scotty Miller. They're not Mike Evans. They're not Chris Godwin. They're not Cameron Brate. They're not Gronk.
Mm-hmm.
What's our Ryan Izzo? Are you kidding me? He had nobody. Even the running backs. James White. Yes, I'm not saying James White was bad because his parents got in the car accident. Sonny Michel isn't all that. Rex Burkhead. Damian Harris is breaking out of his shell finally from, what is he from, Alabama?
Yeah. Georgia.
Because he was hurt all last year, right?
Yeah.
He's a good running back. I think we can use him a lot more going forward. But even Leonard Fournette, playoff Lenny, Lombardi Lenny now.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I blanking on one's name? Rojo. They're way better. Them two combined are better than our whole running back core combined.
Yeah.
Tom Brady had so much.
I'm not talking about
Tom Brady's
I'm talking about system.
Tom Brady's defense was way better at getting him the ball back way quicker. Our defense slacked this year. And you know it.
Well, it doesn't help when your offense is doing 12 plays to get down the field to get a field goal and waste 7 minutes off the clock.
I know that, but the Bucs defense, yes, Tom Brady's the best game manager of all time, but Bucs defense was always getting Tom the ball back, Cam would go, make a ton of mistakes on the field, and just sit there, waiting. Another touchdown's on the board. Then he goes in. Again, drives with no weapons, a bad arm, and had no offseason, had COVID, get a field goal, or punt, or pick. Sit back on the bench. Wait. Another 10 minutes goes by. Another touchdown.
You're telling me the Patriots defense didn't have him in at least 5 of those games. The Broncos game, that's pathetic. They scored like 7 field goals.
Yeah.
Great. The defense held them in the game. The Broncos scored 18 points.
I'm not saying every game they were bad.
The Bills they were bad.
Overall, they were bad.
The Pats' defense last year does not compare to the one they had the year before. It just doesn't.
The boogeyman.
Even that defense wasn't good.
What?
Still the best in the league.
That defense was overrated.
We had the number one defense.
The best defense in the league that year.
Oh my god.
Next topic.
Overrated.
Oh my god.
You're sitting here and telling me that it's Cam Newton.
Oh my god.
Next topic.
Oh my god.
Next topic.
Got exposed. What do you mean?
They were overrated. You said our defense wasn't that good.
Yes, they were overrated. Derrick Henry had 300 yards alone.
Derrick Henry does it to everybody.
If you're the best defense in the league, you're gonna stop him.
He did that to the best defense in this league. He did
Stop
that.
him.
He does that
Stop
all
him.
the time. That's Derrick Henry.
No.
Yes.
The Ravens stopped him. Held him to 40 yards.
Okay, because they finally figured him out.
So if we're the best defense, why didn't we figure him out?
Stop talking. Stop talking.
Thank you.
Stop talking.
Thank you.
You're wrong.
Thank you.
You're wrong.
I'm right. You don't have anything to say to that.
Daryl.
So if we're the best defense, we're gonna figure out we have the best
Next
coach.
topic, please. Next topic, please, man.
I can't.
This is the same guy that said Rocky Marciano is top 5.
Bro.
Dude, I'm sorry.
Ravens offense, number 1 offense that year. They held them to what? 3 points in the Super Bowl? In the Super Bowl.
That's not that year.
What?
That's the year before.
That's the year before.
That was the year before.
It's the same. It's basically the same defense, though. Like almost the same defense.
That was pretty much the same defense. Yeah. Oh my.
All right. Wow. This topic.
That defense wasn't that
Look
good.
at their schedule.
All right. So news came out that Jimmy Garoppolo is the front runner for the Patriots quarterback next year. Brady, what do you think about that?
Go there real quick, bro.
Darren, what do you think? Darren, what do you think about Jimmy G?
I mean, like honestly, Jimmy G, if he can stay healthy, I think he's definitely a situational QB. What does that mean? A QB that thrives depending on what's around him. So I think under Bill Belichick, who I feel like basically made him, Bill Belichick might as well be Jimmy G's dad. Like honestly, like on the Patriots.
But would you want him back?
I mean, like if you weren't paying him too much and like he came and he was injury free, I wouldn't have a problem with it. Honestly, because I don't think he's bad.
What's his deal right now?
I don't know, but I know it's.
49ers.
I don't know, but it's obviously going to be more special than Cam's. So it really comes down to is it that much more worth it than to like give him that much money or to just keep Cam? So it really comes down to that.
Is Jimmy G worth the money that we would need to be paying him? Because he was injured for like at least 6 weeks this year. He was injured for. He got pretty much carried to the Super Bowl. If he didn't have George Kittle was making electrifying plays. He got carried by that defense in the run game when they made the Super Bowl run and obviously lost against the Chiefs. His arm didn't get him there. I think he could be a good quarterback, but I wouldn't choose him to lead our franchise for the next like 10 years. I wouldn't choose Jimmy G.
I think he's a good bridge quarterback though until we get a next quarterback because
do you think
Jimmy Garoppolo knows the offense. He's not going to struggle to learn the offense.
Okay.
Even if he gets COVID, he's going to come back. He's going to know what's going on.
Yeah.
I just think he can win with the Patriots. I don't know.
So
Bill Belichick will put him in a position.
So NFL.com released a free agent landing spot. These are some of the top free agents landing spots. Marvin Jones, the wide receiver they have going to Baltimore, which they very much do need. Lamar Jackson needs that. Hollywood Brown can't cut it. I don't even know the other wide receivers right now. Like, who else do they have? I don't know.
Not much.
Allen Robinson, the Chicago Star. Wide receivers going to Indianapolis Colts. Like we were just talking about, they need another wide receiver. That is big for Indianapolis. I think that's their last piece that they need, that they can make a run. Besides kind of Carson Wentz. Aaron Jones to Miami. They do need a great running back. Ryan Fitzpatrick to the Patriots. I don't know. They're looking for. I don't know. I don't want Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think he's a good mentor, but I don't. Cam doesn't need a mentor. Cam's his own mentor. Cam mentors other people. I don't want a mentor mentoring a mentor. Juju going to the Jets. Juju going to the Jets could be an but is Sam Darnold? I think they're going to go Zach Wilson. I think the Jets are going to go Zach Wilson. There's no way that they can pass it. There's no way. Chris Carson going to the Steelers, which is great. They do need a run game. Alex Smith going to Chicago. So does that mean, do you think he's going to get the starting job? Because Nick Foles does he have one more year or is he a free agent now?
I don't know, but
he might have one more year. I'm not totally sure. But would Alex Smith even start over Mitch or Nick?
I don't think so. I think so. I think it would be on a
Me neither.
I think it would be a game-to-game basis, like who's like just playing well. So if they start off the season with Mitch and then he's playing bad, then go to Nick. If Nick starts playing bad, go to Alex. Like I think they'll all be fighting for like the job. I can't definitively say one's. I think Nick Foles is better than what he played like last year. I think Nick Foles is better than Mitchell Trubisky, but he wasn't playing like that well last year. So I think it's just gonna be if that's the case. I think they'd roll with whoever's hot.
So do you think and then the last one is Curtis Samuel to the Titans, which would be big for the Titans.
Yeah.
They have A.J. Brown, Corey Davis. If they re-sign, I think Corey Davis, the Patriots, should definitely try and pick him up. But if they re-sign him and Curtis Samuel, that's great for Ryan Fitzpatrick. But we're talking about all this. We're talking about all these free agents. Let's talk about a quarterback that's not a free agent. Deshaun Watson, is he ever going to leave? Chicago just put out, Jeff Darlington from ESPN just put out a statement from trading for Deshaun Watson. He said, and I quote, it's going to be tough to find a team that's willing to give up as much as the Bears will right now. So the Bears are all in on a new quarterback. They said that about Deshaun Watson. They said they're all in for Russell Wilson. They're just shooting Trubisky and Nick Foles down, and Alex Smith, I guess. They're just shooting them down.
Can't blame them.
If I'm the Texans, here's what I do. All right, don't play. We went 4-12 with you. We'll go 4-12 without you.
Probably. But same thing.
Doesn't matter to them. They didn't win with them, so what does it matter? They went 4-12.
Yeah.
So don't play. Don't get paid. It's fine.
Yeah. Who's their backup? I don't even know who their backup is.
I don't.
Matt Shaw, probably.
Is it?
Someone like that.
But same thing how we were saying about Russell Wilson. The teams have to give up so much for him to even get there. It's the same thing for Deshaun Watson. That's why I think the Jets one makes zero sense to me. Yes, they have the draft capital, but the team besides their picks, they have nobody. I think he's better off staying at the Texans with Will Fuller and Brandon Cooks than he is going to the Jets. The Jets have nobody.
I don't think the Texans are going to give in. I don't think they should. They don't have to. I mean, they have the leverage. They have the contract. He has no trade clause. And they didn't win with him, so what does it matter if they don't have him? They'll go 4.
That's exactly why I think that's exactly why I actually think you do trade him. The reason why is because if he just holds out, which Watson's not playing for the Texans ever again. It's just not happening. If Watson just wants to hold out.
I have another thing.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
So, it just popped in my head right now. I just remembered. Guess what Russell Wilson said? He said he thinks he's one of the top 5 quarterbacks of all time.
When did he say that?
I forget where he said it, but it was stated that Russell Wilson said he was one of the...
Find it. And then I'll believe you. I don't think he said that.
Bro, I promise you. And then he said something along the lines of, like, people aren't even acting like I'm top 10 right now. That's why I need to try and find it.
He probably said that out of anger or as a joke, honestly. I don't think he really, like... Probably one of those in the moment things.
Russell. What would I even look up?
I feel like even if he won that second Super Bowl, I don't know. I just can't...
What would I even look up? Yet. I don't even know what I'll look up.
Because since he's won that Super Bowl, like, what have they done?
Oh, what if Russell Wilson? So this just popped up on the first thing on Google. Khalil Mack would be one of the first people that Chicago would most likely trade for Russell Wilson, which would be big for the Seahawks defense.
That's not really helping them though. They still don't have a quarterback.
I know, but their defense needs help.
Yeah.
So that's great for their defense. I don't even know what I would look up right now.
Yeah, but. The Seahawks' success is around Russell Wilson. So
yeah, another thing. Russell Wilson trade is Bears' top priority to solve quarterback situation. But then they also said that they're all in on Deshaun, so it's them too. Would Bears unretire number 3 for Russell Wilson? What? Has this offseason...
See, people are just jumping to conclusions. This man hasn't even requested a trade.
So a lot of people were talking about how people pictured Aaron Rodgers as the person that always made like these kind of comments and pictured Russell Wilson as like the nice guy. Does this offseason like kind of tarnish that image in a way? Because he's now saying out, throwing his people under the bus. Now he wants to trade. Aaron Rodgers is just sitting back saying nothing when he should be the most mad out of any quarterback right now. Like, that NFC Championship game was a disgrace. They shouldn't have never said that. Never called that play. But, I don't know. I don't even know what I would look up.
I still don't think Russell Wilson's the bad guy because we don't know the whole story. And
I don't
think it is as bad as what the media is making it out to be.
I definitely don't blame Russell Wilson at all. You want the best for yourself and to surround yourself with. But we'll talk about more QBs. Chris Sims puts out a QB list every year. He put out that Pat Mahomes was the most talented in that draft when nobody said that about Pat Mahomes back in the draft year. He said that Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield were some of the best QBs in their draft class, and not a ton of people were saying that at the time. He put out, so he's probably one of the most trusted but yet most hated quarterback tier list makers there are out there. He said Zach Wilson is the most talented quarterback in this draft. Number 2, Trevor Lawrence of Clemson. Mac Jones is number 3 out of Alabama. Kellen Mond out of Texas A&M is number 4. Justin Fields from Ohio State is number 5. And Trey Lance of North Dakota State is number 6. Those are the top. So when you look at that list, you're like, oh, Trevor Lawrence should be number 1. Oh, Justin Fields has a ton of hype around him. He should be number 2, right? oh, well, actually, Zach Wilson's kind of coming up the list. He should be number 2, Justin Fields 3. But to have Zach Wilson 1 and Mac Jones over Justin Fields and Kellen Mond out of Texas A&M over Justin Fields, Daryl, what do you think about that? Do you think he's right, or do you think he's reaching a little too much?
So I'm like, as someone who like watched a lot of college football last year, I'll definitely say just like I want to address the Kellen Mond thing because that's why I was going to come to people's heads first. Kellen Mond is a good quarterback. Like he's a good quarterback. So I think that's like
he did a lot with not a lot of talent.
Yeah, the Texas A&M was always that sleeper team, and they deserved a lot of respect. They should have even been in the college football playoff. So about like Zach Wilson being over Trevor Lawrence, I think Zach Wilson has a lot of talent and potential, but the way Trevor Lawrence's frame is, his build, he's just too much of a generational like talent. Like he's very mobile for a guy.
Do you think he'll last longer than Zach will?
I think he will, because Zach Wilson also, one thing too, when you're out at BYU, and this is also why I'm not big on I'm not big on Trey Lance at all, by the way, but I'll get to that. Mm-hmm. When you're out at BYU, you're not playing a high level of competition every day. And Zach Wilson was balling. And when you're looking at doing the eye test, you can tell that he's good. But as soon as he versus a team that was even better, like Coastal Carolina was that team. Coastal Carolina had a good defense, and they gave Zach Wilson trouble. They were really aggressive with him. I think Zach Wilson has the accuracy. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Dom.
How do you feel about Trey Lance 6 and Justin Fields 5, though? Because I kind of agree with Justin Fields 5, because Justin Fields only stares down that very first wide receiver, and we saw him get hurt almost 2 times in the last 2 games of the college football season. He loves to escape the pocket. If that first receiver isn't there, he doesn't look anywhere else in the field. So, yeah, he can learn that in the NFL, but it's going to take him some time, because his whole life in QB1 on Netflix, he had his best friend that was the wide receiver, I'm pretty sure, so he always could look his way. And at Ohio State, he always had his number 1 guy. He could always look his way. At the NFL, it's harder to find that great talent if you have that.
Because their number 1 corner is always going to be on the first guy.
Exactly. And corners and safeties in the NFL are 30 tiers higher than the defensive players in college football. They're always wide open. That's the thing about like college football. That's why I can't really get into buying into the quarterbacks that much. But I don't know. I just think that there's a lot of help out because Trey Lance didn't play this year, right? Didn't he opt out?
Played 1 game.
How was that 1 game? Do you remember?
I mean, he played good, but he's not playing against competition. Like, I'm not a fan. Like, I'm gonna say this right now. Like, and if he plays well, like y'all can pull up this episode. I do not think he's gonna be good. I think he's just gonna be one of those like backups who just like he's probably gonna get whatever team he goes to. I feel like he's not gonna play at first. He's probably just gonna sit back and watch. Honestly, like, I'm just not a fan of Trey Lance.
What about Jordan Love, the backup for Green Bay?
I think that's what.
Is he ever gonna? That's what I was just gonna say. Trey Lance and Jordan Love, are they pretty much the same quarterback? Jordan Love's gonna see no playing time unless Aaron Rodgers leaves. And say Aaron Rodgers does leave, say they do a trade, they're obviously gonna get a good quarterback in return. So Jordan Love still might not be playing. So the best case scenario for Jordan Love is to get off the Green Bay Packers because they should never have drafted him. Yeah. There's no spot for him on that team. But, Daryl, overall, what do you think of Chris Sims' list? Number 1, Zach Wilson. Number 2, Trevor Lawrence. 3, Mac Jones. 4, Kellen Mond. 5, Justin Fields. 6, Trey Lance.
I mean, like, other than, like, the Zach Wilson thing, like, over Trevor Lawrence, you just can't justify that. But other than that, like, I can't look at anything he's doing and say it's, like, atrocious. Like, I feel like the rest of the QBs are pretty close. You can make an argument for all of them. For me personally, other than Trey Lance, I haven't seen enough from him. Like, he's not playing anyone. You know what I'm saying? Like, Justin Fields, I think
I haven't seen a ton of Kellen Mond either, so I can't really speak.
And Justin Fields, I think he's a very athletic QB. Like, he can be like a Dak Prescott type. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like just once he gets that guidance as well to just not like just focus on that first read. I think there's a lot of talent there because like you saw the game he played against Clemson in the college football playoff. Like, he was injured in that game too. He's shown as a guy who can take hits. He took that targeting call from James Skalski, and like he bought up the rest of the game and he outperformed Trevor Lawrence that game. So he definitely has potential there. So I mean, I can't say I have a problem with anything else like really except for Zach Wilson over Trevor Lawrence, just because. And I think Zach Wilson is a stud. Like I was, you guys know, I was telling y'all like before the hype even came up, this kid out of BYU was good. But like you can't put him over Trevor Lawrence.
Daryl was telling us that like Daryl was texting us about that like 2.5 months ago. He said watch, he's gonna go up in the ranks, and he's right.
He did.
Shout out Daryl.
Yes, sir.
So moving on from the quarterback type of topic, college quarterback, we're gonna go to the team wheel. We did this 2 episodes ago. We're gonna do like an every other week thing. So basically for the team wheel, it's the 32 NFL teams. As we say them, I'll take them off. So now we have 29 NFL teams remaining. So basically, whatever team it lands on, we have however much time we need to discuss about what they need to do to improve themselves in free agency. Brady, you want to go?
Daryl first.
Daryl, you want to go?
Yep.
All right. So Daryl, let's just see. All right. So what do let's see. What does Washington need to do? What do they need to do?
All right, so Washington needs to finalize what they want to do with the quarterback position. And you also want to get more help other than just Scary Terry on the offensive side. Like, it felt like the defense is balling out. Like, the defense was just balling out. I felt like the defense kind of carried them a lot. Like, Taylor Heineke showed promise that last game, but like the Washington football team, even getting to that record, I feel like the defense just played a huge factor. So if you can get some more consistency on that on offense. I mean, you don't have bad backs, but I just feel like you need some help for Scary Terry. But I think you need to finalize that QB position, see what you're doing, and then from there, start to move forward. Like, if you're rolling with Taylor Heineke, say you're rolling with Taylor.
Who's it?
Yeah, go on.
J.D. McKissick and Antonio Gibson, right? Those
Yes, and they're both really good. Like, they're both really good, honestly. So I mean,
they're both good backs.
Yeah, like, they're not bad backs at all.
I think I had J.D. McKissick.
Yeah, you did have him in fantasy. So yeah, I mean, like, just adjust that QB position and get a more consistent offense, and I think they can probably win the NFC East again, like, depending on how Dak Prescott is, of course, for the Cowboys.
Brady, you want to go? You want me to go?
Yeah.
Okay. So Brady, what do the Jets have to do to get better this offseason?
They need to draft a quarterback.
Yep.
Who I think they. I mean, what pick do they have? 2.
Yes.
So you can take Lawrence off because he's going to the Jags.
So you think Zach Wilson?
Yeah, I think Zach Wilson would be their best option.
Okay.
Yep.
So what else do they need to do besides just QB? Wide receiver? Do they need?
Yeah.
Because if they're gonna bring in Juju, they have Juju, but then they don't have a ton.
True.
They don't have a ton around them. They need. I think they're gonna either go for Najee Harris. I think they're gonna go Najee Harris or Travis Etienne to get that. I don't know. Like, they need to do. The Jets need to do so much to get better.
They need a better coach too.
It's a whole
That's not all stars. They need a coach.
Yeah. Well, no, Salah. They just got Robert Salah.
Yeah.
He's a good coach.
He's a good coach.
I think if they needed anybody to show discipline to that team, is Big Bob Salah.
Yeah.
I think he's a great coach.
Yeah.
All right, so let me just set up this recording. All right, so last one. What do the Raiders have to do? So the Raiders, I don't know. Derek Carr is a good quarterback. He played good like the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season. He played like a top NFL quarterback. Henry Ruggs is good, but I don't think he can be all that. And Nelson Aguilar, he can't be all that. Josh Jacobs, he had a good like first 3-4 weeks into the season, just like Derek Carr. But he got a little bit overhyped towards the end of the season. He was playing like Josh Jacobs did earlier on. Mm-hmm. I think the most thing they need is a defensive piece. I don't know if it's just defense in general. D-line, they have no pressure to the quarterback at all. They can't get any pressure to the quarterback. I think their safeties are fine. The corners are eh. The linebackers are eh. I think the most important piece is either a linebacker or a D lineman to get at least some pressure. They have nothing. They're giving the other quarterback all the time in the world while Derek Carr is being rushed because they have a shaky offensive line, but it's better than the Seahawks offensive line.
I think Derek Carr had a good season.
He did have a good season.
That was
but I'm
best
saying
season of his career.
4 games.
That was the best season of his career, in my opinion.
27 touchdowns, 9 picks.
No, he definitely did. But I'm saying the earlier on was the best point, the best moments of his career. Because then he started going downhill. Because once they beat the Chiefs, they were at the peak of the Raiders. Peak of the Raiders, and he started going.
But then he threw for 381, threw for 316, threw for 336,
threw for 371. I feel like he started to play better.
When did it week? What weeks were they?
That was week 13, 14, 16, and 17.
Threw for over 300 yards every game.
Wow. I don't know. Then maybe it was something. I forget what it was because I remember
consistent the whole year.
I remember texting it. I think in the group chat, I remember saying something about Derek Carr that he wasn't. I forget what it was, but I think the one thing that they do need is a defensive piece. I think they obviously need more than one, but defense is the most thing that they need.
Yes, sir.
Imagine they had Khalil Mack. Still.
Oh, I thought you were making a joke because they did have him.
No, I know. Imagine if they still had him.
Oh, the Bears. I think this is the first year the Bears are finally off of like losing out on their draft picks because of the Khalil Mack thing. So this year they finally have all of the draft picks that they had before trading Khalil Mack. All right, so we're gonna transition from the NFL to the NBA. NBA officiating. Derry, you want to go?
Yeah. So NBA.
This is a big,
go ahead.
big type of topic right now.
It is. It is a big topic in the NBA, and it's just been trending a lot. A lot of players are not happy with the officiating. Like it's just getting soft under like their opinion and stuff like that. But I think some of these players.
Who's getting soft? The officiating or the players?
I think it has to be a little bit of both. So I have to say because I can't say it's all like the officiating. I can't say it's all like the players. It's like a mixed bag. Like I think there's room for improvement to both sides. So let me give you a few examples. So Devin Booker got ejected against the Lakers. I think people were getting mad about that since it was like a primetime game. Like you're obviously watching this primetime game, you want the stars to be there. But I mean, you can't act like he didn't do anything. Like the way he threw the ball back to the ref, that wasn't really like something you should do. And
it wasn't needed.
Yeah, and he seemed like he mounted off something that we obviously couldn't see or hear. But like it looked like he said something because like if you look at some videos on Twitter, you can see like LeBron and KCP like turn around and look like when Devin Booker said something. So he must have like said something rude. He must have said something rude to the referee. So we can't act like, oh my god, I kicked him off for no reason. So let's look at another case when Montrezl Harrell got tapped up for &1. That's not you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not okay. Like that's not okay. Like that's soft. That's soft. Let's go.
And didn't Donovan Mitchell get kicked out in OT?
I'm gonna talk.
And then they ended up losing 131. Sorry, 131 to 123.
Let me get to Mitchell. I was about to get to Mitchell. So Mitchell, I did not like his take at all. Because like Mitchell, you can't act like the refs. He was trying to act like in the post game conference. He was like, "Oh my God, we won the game. The refs won the game for the 76ers." Are you kidding me? Joel Embiid hit a tough three to get you guys to get the 76ers to OT, and then Tobias Harris was like killing you guys in OT. That's not the refs. You guys are getting killed. Like, what are you saying, bro?
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Donovan. Donovan Mitchell was like doing stuff like hooking Ben Simmons, and when he got called for an offensive foul, he's mad. Like, you can't act like the refs are supposed to
Tatum always does it.
He does, but it's just I don't know.
Let me tell you something. Yes, I think the officiating gets bad at times, but when you go to the rack and every time you come out looking for a foul, going like this, asking where's
Lakers
the foul,
games.
then you do get all these calls and you're like, well, this is too much. Well, this is too much. Well, you're over there begging for calls every single time you go to the rim. That's just how it's going to be. Eventually, they're going to give you it, and then you're going to complain that they're giving all these like. I do see some of those ejections were terrible, but if you're going to complain for just a normal play every single time, like multiple times,
they're arguing
for
any contact.
I see for Jason Tatum, they go to the rack and immediately they go over to officials. They're like this. They're getting in the official's face. Yeah. But then you get the calls you're asking for, in my opinion.
I don't know. That's why I feel like because everybody says this NBA is soft because it's true and it's not true. It's true because they're whining about every little thing, but I don't understand. Like, you need to understand that some things just won't go your way. Not everything can go your way.
Yes, sir.
So that's the one thing you said about putting their hands up every time. Every Lakers game I've ever watched for at least 10 minutes after every single
Jason
play.
Tatum.
Jason Tatum
all
does
the
all the time. But Jason Tatum's always hooking people, getting around and drive to the basket. He's always hooking around. But so 76ers just beat the Utah Jazz in OT, 131-123. That puts them 0.5 games ahead of the Nets. So right now the standings are in the Western Conference. The Jazz are 27-9. Suns are 24-11. They just snuck up there. Lakers are 24-13. Clippers are 24-14. In their Eastern Conference, 76ers are 24-12. Nets are 24-13. Bucks are 24-14, and the Celtics are 19-17. The Bucks are finally getting into the top four again, which is good, but they're only 0.5 games ahead of the Knicks. What do you think about these standings? Do you think the Celtics can kind of slowly work their way back up? Or do you think they're just going to go back down?
So like the Celtics have like we're gonna get a whole topic, a whole like segment like for the Celtics again because we gotta give them their stripes. Like they played them much better and went into All-Star break with a winning streak. So I think they can definitely move up. But I think this year like 3 teams are definitely beating the Celtics in the playoffs. 76ers will beat them. The Nets will destroy them, and I also think the Bucks could probably beat them. So it's like
you also said the Heat will beat them. Are you going back on that now?
I think the Heat can beat them. I think the Heat can beat almost every team in that conference when everyone's healthy. Like the Heat is one of those teams that like everyone is not like a star. Like Jimmy Butler's a star, but it's not like, oh my god, I have to start. I can give him the ball. Like he's just gonna carry us. Like it's one of those team by committee things. Like kind of like how the 2013 Spurs were. Like everyone kind of plays a role. So if the Heat, like he had a lot of COVID problems. So,
they played as a team. They didn't play
exactly.
They played as a team.
Yeah, I watched the finals. Like they played as a team. Part. So it just depends. Yeah, after the West, I still don't take the Jazz serious. I just don't. Like I'd rather pick.
What about the Suns? Suns are second right now.
See, the Suns, anything can happen honestly because like Chris Paul really brings leadership to the team. Yeah, Chris Paul really brings like that leadership to the team. Like we saw what Chris Paul did with OKC last year. Like a team that was supposed to be in the lottery, like they went in the playoffs, almost beat the Rockets. So I think Chris Paul has really brought the team in the right direction. But at the end of the day, I mean, if AD's healthy, we went through it. If AD's healthy, the Lakers are favorites. Like it's really that simple.
So what do you? I think this is the best spot that the All-Star break can come, just so we can finally get healthy Kemba back. Yes, they're kind of they're on the winning streak, like Daryl pointed to, but healthy Kemba with the Celtics can only help them.
Yeah.
What else can the Celtics do? I think that the Celtics can make trades for John Collins, Aaron Gordon, and it was rumored that Zach LaVine might be coming to the Celtics early on. I don't know so much now, but
I think what we have to do is be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to my cousin this week. I actually talked to him last night. Shout out to Neil.
Shout out Neil.
The main thing that stood out to me when I was talking to him, he said the Celtics have this problem of inconsistency, and it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that also stood out to me, what he was talking about, he said, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they haven't been that it factor. So what do they need to do to get that it factor?
One of them's cold.
Exactly. It's like one or the other. We need to have that it factor. I feel like once we get that...
Once we get them two in sync, once Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum start working together, it's going to be a whole new thing. Because then Kemba can start cooking. Because everybody's going to be looking at Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown only. And then Kemba's going to be sitting in the corner.
I feel like one of them needs to take the initiative. And
I don't care which one it is, Jason or Tatum.
They have to be the it factor.
Excuse me, Jason or Brown.
And I feel like neither of them has really been the it factor so far. We haven't seen it be consistent at least.
The good thing is Robert Williams has been playing well, finding his role in the team. Like how I pointed to last week, he's going to be the part of the future. Again, healthy Kemba really helps the team. But NBC Sports pointed out that Jermani Grant is one of their top targets. What do you think about that, Daryl?
So Jeremy Grant, I definitely think he'll bring a good offensive presence. I don't think the Pistons are gonna want to trade him because he's their best player. But if he came, that would be key because the Celtics' main problem right now is the offense really gets really stagnant. You know what I'm saying? For instance, their bench doesn't have much depth, and it feels like if Tatum or Brown have a bad game, they're gonna lose. You know what I'm saying?
What do you think about Pritchard?
Pritchard is I feel like Pritchard is the only one who's consistent off that bench right now. You know what I'm saying? Granted, Marcus Smart is injured right now, so that's why. But Peyton Pritchard has been the only one I can see oh my god, when he comes out of the bench, he's consistent. But Rob Williams should be starting over Tristan Thompson or Dice. So when I'm taking the bench, I don't even consider Rob Williams. I feel like it's ridiculous why he's not starting. He's been playing really well as well. Right. So, but we're just not getting enough offensive. It feels like we're not getting enough offense from people other than Tatum and Brown sometimes.
So there's some rumors that Nikola Vucevic might be coming and is interested in the Celtics. But again, the trade NBC Sports again said the trade package to get Nikola Vucevic would have to be "quote unquote" massive to even bring him here.
Yeah, we'd have to.
And the whole problem with the Celtics is that we have no bench. So why would we give up a few of our star players and maybe some picks in bench to get Nikola Vucevic?
No point.
If I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it at all. Another person that might be on the
at the end of the day, we're in the same spot we're in.
Exactly.
No bench.
Exactly. Just with a good big.
Yep.
No bench, but with a good big. So it's a win-lose. I feel like mostly lose. But Vucevic, his stats right now are 24.6 points per game, 11.6 rebounds, and 4 assists. But let's talk about someone who's most definitely a free agent. Blake Griffin. He has bought out his own contract to leave the Pistons for $13.3 million. And he said he wants to ring chase. I believe he said, the Heat, the Lakers, the Clippers, and Nets. Were those the 4 teams? Where do you think he'll most likely be? Nets, Lakers? Yeah. Who's the Lakers big right now?
If he wants to chase a ring, I say he goes to the Lakers or Nets.
Montrezl Harrell? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so a topic on First Take this week was Dame Dolla. Should he stay in Portland or leave Portland? Darryl, what do you think? A lot of people were saying he was getting a ton of respect just because he's staying in a smaller market in Portland. But I feel like for his career, it's not bad in Portland, but Portland can't make it to that next step. I don't think they can. I don't know. I don't think that they can be a championship caliber team. They need something. Darryl, what do you think?
Yeah, see, unfortunately, I feel like he's a type, he wants to be loyal to the city, and I really respect that. But, unfortunately, the way you're measured up, especially, kids 50 years from now, they're going to search him a player on basketball references and be like, oh, how many rings does he have? He has none. So, I'm not going to, respect him.
Exactly.
So, I feel like he either needs to leave eventually, or he needs to find a way to get some marquee free agents in Portland because unfortunately, like places like that, free agents are never gonna want to go to. Like the free agents always want to go to places like LA or like places like that. It's just unfortunate, but I really respect what he's doing. And honestly, if he wants to stay, he wants to stay. Like I respect it, but it comes with the consequences. Like if you don't get a ring, unfortunately, that's going to be held against you. That's just how it works, unfortunately.
So the All-Star break is, what is it, this week, right?
Yes.
This week?
Tomorrow actually.
First type of All-Star game we saw was tonight. 2 Chainz and Lil Baby took on
who won, Daryl?
Jack Harlow and Quavo.
Yeah, so Quavo...
Probably the worst basketball game I've ever seen in my life besides my old highlights in 3rd grade. Bro, I'm not even kidding. I was terrible at basketball, but we won't talk about it. So, Daryl, do you want to look up who won that game?
Yep. I think I don't think Lil Baby's good at basketball, guys. I mean,
bro, he's terrible. He's what, 5'8". I think it was no doubt Quavo and Jack Harlow. But listen to these teams. So for Team LeBron, they got LeBron in the starting 5, Giannis in the starting 5, Steph Curry, Luka Doncic, and Jokic are in the starting 5. Team KD, Bradley Beal, Joel Embiid, Kyrie Irving, Kawhi Leonard, Jason Tatum. Daryl, which of those 2 teams do you think has the better advantage to win that game? Team LeBron or Team KD?
Definitely Team LeBron.
If you need me to read them out again,
No, definitely. I know the teams. I'm definitely Team LeBron because, like, also one thing too, like, it would have been different if KD was playing and KD was starting. He's not. He just picked the teams. So
right,
like,
he's not even playing.
Yeah, so I have to go Team LeBron. Even Team LeBron overall. You have Steph and Dame Lillard on the same team. Like, bro, that's a force.
Exactly. I was just gonna say Dame's coming off the bench. That's the thing. And
that's a crazy.
Shout out Mike Conley. Who said Mike Conley? I thought I did. Okay, thank you. He's replacing Devin Booker in the All-Star game this week.
So he's getting disrespected. The only way he made it is if someone didn't play.
Yeah, pretty much.
Disrespectful. Oh, by the way, Quavo scored 17 and led them to victory.
So what? Jack Harlow scored what, 4?
Yeah.
Hey, scored more than Lil Baby probably. Lil Baby didn't get 1 rebound, I bet.
I don't think Lil Baby
scored. He was so bad.
Probably didn't score.
He was so bad.
He should just quit everything.
Great on that song with Drake. Terrible on the court. 3-point contest. We got a pretty good 3-point contest. Steph Curry, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Mike Conley replacing Devin Booker, Zach LaVine, and Donovan Mitchell. Daryl, who do you think is going to take that 3-point contest crown?
Steph Curry. If Steph Curry's in anything related to 3, like I don't care. I'm always going to take him.
I can't.
I also agree.
I can't. Even if he's wrong, excuse me. Even if he loses, I can't not take.
Especially with no fans in the crowd, I feel like he's just gonna go off. Like it's just gonna be like another shoot around for him.
It's crazy. Like this is a guy who literally pulled up from half court in games. Like I'm not gonna forget when you put off and literally half court.
Why didn't they put
to close up the Thunder?
Why didn't put Damian Lillard in it?
True.
I don't know.
Why didn't they put Damian Lillard?
I don't think he wanted to do it. I think they wanted him in it. I don't think he wanted to do it.
Oh,
really? I mean,
okay. I was about to say I'd put him in over Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum.
Yeah, I don't know why they.
And Devin Booker.
Yeah.
Damian Lillard's probably one of the best shooters in the league. But again, so the next one, this is a bummy, sad dunk contest. Obi Toppin of the Knicks, Aferny Simon of the Trailblazers, and Cassius Stanley of the Pacers. I think Cassius Stanley has the best chance because where'd he go? Duke, Kentucky? I can't remember. Do you remember Cassius Stanley?
Duke.
He went to Duke. I've seen some of his videos at Duke. I think he has the best chance to win this thing. But you said it. Which one of you said it's going on halftime, so they have fans or something like that?
Daryl said that.
Yeah, it's going on during halftime, and I also. So I'm guessing it's probably going to be the players hyping them up or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So do you think that's the main reason why?
Because the players will be around.
Well, I mean, I think the main reason they're doing it at halftime is because of COVID. Like they're trying to have everything on one day. Yeah. So like that's the main reason why they're doing it then.
So they have the 3-point contest the same day too?
Yeah. So I think the 3 contest. I think the way it's gonna work is like the skills challenge and 3-point contest will proceed. Well, come before.
The skills challenge was even a thing.
No one cares about that. No one ever cared about that. I think it's gonna be before the All-Star game and then the dunk contest at halftime. And like they're trying to wrap up everything in one day.
So, do you think that's the main reason why they have no big stars in this dunk contest?
Well,
I mean, like
that,
even if bring Aaron Gordon back in, is Aaron Gordon even an All-Star?
He doesn't want to do it though.
Nah,
is Aaron Gordon an All-Star?
He's not. I think it's honestly because nowadays this isn't even just because like this year. Like I feel like a lot of like stars have not like been into the dunk contest. I mean, shining. Like the year when Gordon and Zach LaVine did like the dunk contest. Like that year, like Zach LaVine wasn't really known like that. Gordon wasn't really known like that. So like it hasn't really been people like stars
Zach
anymore.
LaVine was one on the Timberwolves then.
Yeah, he's on the Timberwolves. And also, I actually don't think his dunk contest will be as bad as we think. I mean, Obi Toppin literally used to do like under the legs dunks in game like last year was on Dayton.
He is hops.
Like he has bounce. Like he has serious bounce. Like he's good. So we'll see how this goes.
I think it's not going to be that good just because it's not no names, but no big names.
Mm-hmm.
I actually picked up Obi Toppin in fantasy, dropped him after the first week. He's not very good. He's a bum in fantasy, but I think hopefully the dunk contest can turn out to something. But as of right now, it's nothing special.
Yep.
But we'll go to the last segment to end the show. We'll go Player of the Week, NHL, NBA, any sport. Daryl, who's your Player of the Week?
All right. The reason I'm saying this, and like you could probably pull up NBA player who had better numbers than him, right? Like, but I have to go LaMelo Ball. You know why? He's only 19. He's only 19. He's a rookie. He's gonna win a Rookie of the Year. Like, I think we all know that. Like, I don't think it's even like a question anymore, right? So let me tell you his past 3 games. So a game against Sacramento, he had 24, 4 rebounds and 12 assists. Game against the Blazers, he had 30.6 rebounds and 8 assists. And I forgot who his last game, but he had 19-7 and 5. It was the Timberwolves. So, and he's also been like balling out ever since he's been inserted into the starting lineup. And the Hornets are actually 7th in the East right now, which honestly that's pretty fair because I don't think anyone even thought this team was gonna make the playoffs. But he has them playing well right now. And for a rookie, he doesn't even look like the NBA is hard for him. He looks like he has like really like control of the game. Like he really has some good pace. He's a really good passer. And to do that at that age, the sky's the limit for LaMelo Ball. And yes, I think he's the best ball brother.
So, hands down. So I definitely know what you're saying, that more players might have better stats than him. But I think most impressing in a way, LaMelo Ball definitely deserves a Player of the Week. And I don't remember who said it, but they said LaMelo Ball is who we all thought Lonzo Ball was going to be. But that's so true.
I think it was Stephen A.
Was it Stephen A?
Yeah.
That was so. That's one of the realest statements I've heard in a long time.
Lonzo was hyped.
Lonzo Ball was so his
hyped.
senior mixtape coming out of Sheenan Hills was disgusting. I remember watching them on YouTube, watching the Ball Brothers.
I'm not gonna
Lonzo Ball, he's still on the Pelicans, right? I don't know. I
Yeah,
want him
he's
to
never
do.
really
I
found
want
his
him to do
spot.
good, but yeah. Poor Leangelo's barely in the G League right now
Even
after
make the
stealing.
Pistons spot.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a bust,
After
unfortunately.
making after stealing
If you
stuff.
can't
at
make the
UCLA.
Pistons, just give up.
Yeah, Brady, you
Go
want to go
sell
Player of the
cars or
Week?
something.
Huh?
He was on there for what, a day, 2 days. He didn't even play a
unfortunately.
game. I don't even know if he went to a practice.
Yo,
That was a bad
imagine the
break for him.
trash talking that hose.
Oh my god.
Well, you didn't make the
LeVar walking in.
Yo, LaMelo gets a car.
What the heck did he get for getting cut by the
LaMelo
Pistons?
Ball already has like a Rolls Royce or something like that. Like they all. I don't understand how
He
LeVar
must feel
has
so
all this-
left out.
How does LeVar have all this money?
Big
Like-
baller, Burn.
Okay, but like
His sons. are in
They're
the-
like reality
I don't
TV.
understand
That's why they
how
have
he's
so
a-
much money.
he's
very strategic.
Yeah, he had millions and millions
Have you
when they
seen
were in
their
high
house?
school. Yes, I've
So
seen their
nice.
house. Bro, he bought LaMelo Ball a Lamborghini for his 16th birthday. How did they have this much money? That was before they were even in the NBA. That was when their reality show was just starting. What was it, Ball in the Family, something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
The dad is really good at like.
LeVar's hilarious. Shout out
Marketing.
Tina,
Yeah.
the wife. Didn't she have a stroke or something like
I
that?
don't know.
I
Yeah.
think she had a stroke. It was a while ago, though. I think she's better now.
My player of the week, though,
Yeah, who's your player of the week?
I'm going with Joel Embiid.
Okay,
Just
my
simply
MVP.
Not that at all.
Simply because like
Can't. MVP.
everything that happened in that game, he somehow came out. He got the 3-pointer to put them into overtime.
Yeah.
and then
Got the job done.
So you're
He went
saying he's the
40
MVP now?
40, 19, and 3.
He is.
I think
he
he's
is.
the MVP.
Yeah.
He definitely is. He
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
is.
I
Like,
think
there's no
he's
question.
Little
about it.
hopping on the little
Yeah.
Dom bandwagon. It's okay.
He definitely is. Fair.
All right, so my player of the week, I was going to try and... Because I knew you guys were going to go NBA because we've talked about it before. But I was trying to go NHL, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to go Kylian Mbappe at a PSG French club. Scored 3 goals against Barcelona. Barcelona is one of the most known clubs in the world from Spain. Scored a hat-trick in Champions League. Champions League is the best European overseas clubs in the world. He got a hat-trick against one of the best teams. They ended up beating Barcelona 4-1, and they're playing. PSG's next game is March 10th against Barcelona. And Kylian Mbappe is very young. He's already the face of that team. He already had a deal with, I forget, he had a collab with somebody. I can't remember who it was.
LeBron
It might have been
James.
Ronaldo or somebody else, but it was was it LeBron?
Oh, he had like this. He was doing like commercial stuff with like LeBron and stuff like that.
Yeah. He's a great player. He's a great young player. He's the face of PSG. I think Neymar is going to be out of there. But yeah, hat trick against Lionel Messi in probably the best Spanish club right now. I think that's why he's my player of the week. All right, are we all set? All right, so thank you guys for watching the third episode of DBD Sports Show. Let's give it a round of applause. Thank you, Daryl, joining us from home. Make sure you guys check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts at DBD Sports Show. Thank you guys. See you guys next week. Have a good one.